Agent Romanoff. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hey guys, and welcome to FilMonger, your #1 source for all things films and movies. My name is Elijah, and there's obviously a ton of hype surrounding the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For the most part, a lot of people really enjoy these movies. But we always have to consider the likelihood that some actors or actresses who have appeared in these movies don't really care for the movies all that much. It might not be their taste. And more recently, Gwyneth Paltrow has kind of led some fans on to think that maybe she's not too much of a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Who's that?
Sebastian Stan plays Bucky. Bucky is the Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay.
We weren't in Spider-Man.
Yes, we were.
Homecoming.
You were in Spider-Man.
No.
Yeah.
I was in Avengers.
No, you were in Spider-Man also. It's
What?
become...
If you haven't, then you're living under a rock. No, it's...
You were in it.
You haven't seen...
You were in it.
I haven't seen it.
Hey, you're a widow. Don't spoil it for I'm sorry.
And we have some pretty funny and somewhat lighthearted evidence to definitely back up this claim that she doesn't pay attention to what's going on in the MCU one bit. So the first little bit of a story that started this whole thing was during a Netflix special that had the actor who plays Happy, along with Gwyneth Paltrow, kind of conversing and cooking at the same time. Gwyneth Paltrow was surprised and almost pretty confident that she did not appear in Spider-Man Homecoming. Here's the clip of that.
We weren't in Spider-Man.
Yes, we were.
Homecoming.
You were in Spider-Man.
No.
Yeah.
I was in Avengers.
No, you were in Spider-Man also. It's
What?
become... Remember Spider-Man at the end and Tom Holland's there and you're going to walk out and do a press conference and I give you the ring?
Yes.
That was Spider-Man.
That was Spider-Man?
Now, if you guys remember correctly, Gwyneth Paltrow definitely was in that movie playing Pepper.
Where's the kid?
He left.
Everybody's waiting.
You know what? He actually made a really mature choice. Just surprised the heck out of us.
Did you guys screw this up?
He told the kid to go wait in the car.
Are you kidding me? I have a room full of people in there waiting for some big announcement. What am I gonna tell them?
Think of something. How about, Pat, you still got that ring?
Do I
The engagement.
Are you kidding? I've been carrying this since 2008.
In the post-credits scene at the end of the movie, and was a really big deal because for the most part people didn't think that we would ever see a return of this character. There was a ton of rumors circulating around that they had tried to get her back for other movies like Civil War and couldn't quite get her to come on board, or even I think Age of Ultron they couldn't quite get her to come on for. So there was a lot of speculation that they were going to write this character off in a way or another, but they obviously probably threw a pretty big check at her to get her to come on for Infinity War and for Endgame, and likelihood in that contract there was the appearance that got tied in for Spider-Man, which she may have forgotten that she actually did, or didn't know when she was recording that she was going to be used in that movie. It wouldn't be the first time that actors didn't know what they were filming. We saw that a ton with Endgame. We even knew that the Falcon didn't even know that he was in Ant-Man until after the movie released and he saw himself on the poster. So there is instances of people not knowing they're in certain movies, but it's kind of clear she didn't see the movie. Then we have this clip from a recent interview where Tom Holland and Jake Gyllenhaal were promoting Spider-Man Far From Home, and Gwyneth Paltrow was also a guest on the Graham Norton show. And Tom Holland decides to do a little spoiler alert for Endgame, and he makes the comment that you're probably living under a rock if you haven't seen Endgame. Here's the clip, it's really funny.
If you haven't, then you're living under a rock. No, it's...
You were in it.
You haven't seen
You were in it.
I haven't seen it.
You're a widow.
Don't spoil it for Gwyneth!
I'm sorry.
Don't spoil it for Gwyneth. Let her discover that herself.
So, obviously, she's probably not too much a fan of just the superhero genre, and just knowing some of the ventures and movies that Gwyneth Paltrow have done in the past, and just some of the business ventures that she's involved in. It's not really superhero material, so there's no real shame in not following something. It's a little weird when you're in a movie and you don't watch it though. I know if I was in a movie, I'd like to at least see how I was portrayed, but for a superhero movie, it is what it is. We are grateful that she did at least come back on for Endgame and Infinity War to kind of complete the Tony Stark storyline, which is really important, especially because she was one of the major characters of the first MCU film. So it is important that she came back in that sense, and it was nice that they wrote her in some way or another, even if they have to never have the actress come back on again. But it's still interesting. But there's more to this proof and evidence that Gwyneth Paltrow does not follow the MCU whatsoever. We also have a very interesting post of Tom Holland, who mentioned that he was posted in this Instagram picture where Gwyneth Paltrow referenced him as this guy. Yeah, she didn't even know who he was when she was in a selfie with Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland. And it's just kind of funny because poor Tom Holland trying to get his way in the MCU, and one of the major actresses who was in the first film doesn't even know who he is. It's pretty funny, and there's more instances of this to go on, but here's a clip of Tom Holland kind of elaborating on that experience. That's also really funny.
And she came up and she asked me for a photo with me and Robert, and then I think she posted it and she said, Robert Downey Jr., myself, and this guy.
Then we can shift gears off of Tom Holland. Tom Holland maybe is forgettable. I don't know. Maybe Gwyneth Paltrow just can't remember that guy. But then we had a similar experience with Sebastian Stan, who also posted on Instagram that he finally got to meet Gwyneth Paltrow for the first time after his third time meeting her, which essentially means that he's met her 3 times, and each time she had no idea who he was, which is kind of funny. Poor Sebastian Stan. I mean, if you've only seen maybe some of the movies, you might not remember him. I honestly don't see how you couldn't remember who Sebastian Stan is because of his very prominent role in the Captain America movies and in other movies as well. But still, she had forgotten him, and there's even a live stream footage of Gwyneth Paltrow asking her publicist who Sebastian Stan was. And it sounds like she really had no idea who he was, who the Winter Soldier was, or anything along those lines either. Here's that clip. It's really funny.
Who's that?
Sebastian Stan plays Bucky. Bucky is the Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay.
So obviously, it's pretty clear that Gwyneth Paltrow doesn't really keep up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that leads us to a really interesting discussion point. Do you guys feel that these actors or actresses should be required to, at some point or another, pay attention to the movies that they're in or the universes that exist with these characters? We're kind of curious on where you guys stand with that. Now, in the recent interview that Gwyneth Paltrow did, in all of the interviews actually, she does play it off pretty well. She doesn't show any explicit hate for these movies, and definitely just makes jokes about the fact that she didn't know she was in the movie, or even has a good conversation with Tom Holland in one of the interviews. Here's that clip.
If I ever do anything dickish, she'd go, God, you're such a movie star, man. And it drives me up the wall. But now I just go, yeah, I am.
I think the asshole conversation may be happening very soon.
So I don't think there's any bad blood. It just comes down to a matter of someone who's just really not interested in superhero movies being involved in superhero movies and being expected to know the same depths and knowledge that fans of these movies have. And that's kind of a major point of these films, and something that we always have to consider when looking at these actors or actresses. We know that a lot of the actors who have been in some of the earlier MCU movies that were written out or fired, like Ed Norton or Terrence Howard, don't follow the MCU at all. Whether that's because of bad blood or they're just not interested, that's their prerogative, but they took on those roles knowing they were superhero movies early on, and they just don't follow them anymore. So should they be shamed in the same way? Should they be shamed at all? I don't think that anyone should be shamed over it, but I do think it's just the best way to handle it is to look at those situations and laugh at it, because honestly, Gwyneth Paltrow having no idea about anything in the universe that she helped kickstart is really hilarious to me, and it leads to these funny interviews that are worth making videos on. So we'd love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you agree with us, or do you have your own opinion? We're open for discussion. For more videos like this, be sure to subscribe with notifications on. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video. Bye guys.
I'm about to.
Hi, everybody.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Hi.
Hi. See you guys.